Hi everyone, and welcome to the 9th video in our series of Managing Employees, HR Essentials, All Employers Need to Know. And today I'm joined again by Paulette from Fresh HR Insights. Hi Paulette, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Gosh, it only seems like yesterday since we filmed the last video. It's gone so quick.
It has, absolutely. So thanks for joining me again today. And today we're going to be talking about ending employment. So how is the best way to finalise someone's employment, and how's the right way to do it? So how do you, one, when you've got someone who's where you have to terminate their employment, and the other way is, I guess, if someone's actually resigning, what's the right way to handle that?
And it really does come down to the right way to do it. Now, all the way through this video series, we've talked about the policies and procedures going through. We've talked about the disciplinary process. Now, all those are setting you up and protecting you when it comes to the ending of employment. Now, if a person's resigned from their employment, quite often people choose to pay them in lieu of their notice. So they're not actually not required to attend the workplace, and you pay them out their notice period and their final pay, as well as all their employee entitlements. So if they're a permanent full-time or a permanent part-time employee, you need to pay them out any accrued and remaining holiday leave. That's there. You need to pay it. If you don't, then they have a claim against you. Okay. With your notice period as well, you need to look at their length of service and what their notice period is. Now, if it comes down to where you've gone through the disciplinary process, as we went back in video 7, so month 7 with that, the disciplinary process, you need to make sure you've followed the procedurally fair way to do it, that you've offered the person natural justice, and that you've gone through every support process that you can, you've done the paper trail, you've had the investigation, you've had the meetings, you've offered them a support person, and you've set them objectives and whether they've reached those and met them or not. You would be inviting them into maybe a final disciplinary meeting as an example, and if you have decided that the allegations are strong enough to terminate, then you would offer them a show cause meeting. So show good reason why we should not terminate your employment, and get them one final option. And from then you can decide whether you're going to or not. And at that point then, if it's because of a disciplinary matter, you would actually put them on terminate their employment and actually put them out and pay them in lieu of notice. You wouldn't want them left in the workplace, potentially being a little bit toxic and causing trouble. So it's best just to move them on. If a person's and also follow up with a letter as well to make it very clear. Same with resignation. If someone's resigned from the business, you can do them a resignation letter. Thank you for working with us. We're going to miss you as per your letter. Your last day of your employment is. We're going to pay you in lieu of notice. Best of luck with your future going forward. And you can also talk to them how, depending on the circumstances or why they're exiting the business, what the communication is going to be to everybody else that's left behind as well.
Okay. And what about what's the process around writing references for people these days? Is that something that you have to do as an employer?
It is a tricky one. A lot of people don't like writing references. I kind of say to my clients that just do the standard. Yes, this person was employed here. This is their date of employment. This is when their employment finished, and these are the main duties that they did within their role. It is not company policy to write any more. The reason why I do that is that just you sit on the fence. So someone can't come back and go, well, you gave me a bad reference, I didn't get the job.
Or you gave me a really good reference and then opens things up for another employer.
Yeah, if you gave them a really good reference and then that actually doesn't prove true, then the other employer might come, might decide to have a go at you as well. So really just sit on the fence. I know it doesn't help when we're recruiting, and it is frustrating when we're recruiting to not have that information, but it's just so much better to sit on the fence.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else that you need to do when you're finalising someone's employment?
Do it respectfully. In the case of maybe redundancy, if it's a redundancy situation, these people have got families that they need to feed, lifestyles as well. So just be respectful of the process you're about to go through as well. With the redundancy process, there is a process to it, and you do need to go into communication with those that are going to be affected as soon as you know there's potential for a redundancy happening. And you do need to make sure it's a genuine redundancy and not just a disguise to get rid of someone from the workplace.
Okay, because then you could be opened up for unfair dismissal again.
So with the redundancy, it's always the role, it's never the person. So you're making the role redundant. So if you've got 5 people doing the same role and you just get rid of one person, that's not really a genuine redundancy. Because the role still needs to be required to be done. You need to put all 5 people into consultation of threat redundancy and actually go through a matrix of why a certain person is going to be selected.
Right, okay.
That's a whole new story.
And I guess the other thing is too, if you're unsure about any of these processes that we've talked through with all of our videos, not just today's one, but make sure that you give Paulette a call, because she'll be able to walk you through the process correctly, so that you make sure you're doing the right thing and you're not going to be opening yourself up for an unfair dismissal claim.
Yep. And when you give me a call as well, we'll pop the number below and the email address, you actually get me. So Fresh HR Insights is my business. You're going to get me on the end of the phone. You're not going to get a call centre. I've got the qualifications. I lecture at the university in the HR space as well. So I can pretty much ravel most things off pretty quickly. And if I don't know the answer, I actually have a legal team now who I work very closely with, who are right behind me if I have a question. So I've got you all covered on all bases.
Yeah, so Paulette's definitely the expert in that area. So give her a call if you're ever worried about what you're actually going through that process. So make sure you get the right advice.
Yeah, it's better to ask the question than to make a mistake.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, that's it from us today and our second last video, and we look forward to seeing you again next month.
And don't forget the links at the bottom as well for our fabulous offers for you, and our checklist and everything as well.
Every other month, we've got those great offers, so yes, don't forget to click on those links below, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Next month's for the last video, so do join us. We look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye.